Hi everyone. Good morning. It's Margaret Manning here and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is August the 5th. It's Friday. So what have you got planned for today? Are you going to go dancing, reading, playing, swimming, just enjoying your day? Let's just see what happens. I think it's going to be a great day for everyone, so welcome. I first of all want to remind you that if you would like to hear this news first, you can go to 60andme.com/mornings and you'll get alerted when the news is released. And please tell a friend. I've had some great emails from people mentioning that they've shared Mornings with 60 and Me with their friends and they've enjoyed it, and I'm just really happy to have you all here. I just wanted to, before we start with the news, tell you that I hope that you do visit our Facebook and our website, because there's lots of wonderful comments that are shared there, and I just would like to encourage you to go out and reach out to each other, give virtual hugs, and even if you don't agree with someone's point of view, just give them a hug, and like each other's comments so that you can start to make connections and meet each other. There's just a lot of activity, and I want you to be sure to take advantage of all that. We're here for each other. It's 60 and Me is a very unique community, and I'm just so proud and honored to be part of it, and just happy to welcome you all here. So glad you're here. I've got my morning cup of tea. This morning, I've actually got English breakfast. I decided to go with something really, really straightforward and simple. I'm from the UK. I was born in London. And I think my mom told me that she weaned me on English breakfast tea. You put it in my milk. And so I think you start really early over there learning that a cup of tea is like the cure to all things that trouble you. And it's just a great way to know that all is well with the world. A good cup of tea. So anyway, enjoy your cup of tea, and let's get started with the news of the day. It's been a pretty chaotic week. I don't know when it's not chaotic, but there's fighting continuing in Syria and Libya. Arrests are continuing in Turkey. In the UK, the Labour Party is, there's turmoil in the leadership discussion there. In the United States, the election conversations are intensifying. It's just, a world full of complexity, and I just want to try to take a step back and pick a few of the articles that I think are impacting our lives, and also share some feel-good stories that uplift us and make us feel positive about the world that we live in. So just a quick update on the situation in London. There was a stabbing yesterday. A woman from the United States was actually killed, and 5 people were injured. And it turns out that it was an act of mental illness. It was a young person, 19 years old, a Norwegian citizen who has with Somali background. He just attacked these people randomly, and unfortunately one woman did die. But the police have it all under control, and it's a very sad situation, but that's the update there. In the United States, President Obama is having a discussion to defend criticism that there had been hostage money paid to Iran. There was a transfer of cash during the time that there were hostages released, and the argument is that they were related. He is saying that this is not the case, that it's simply a debt that was being repaid from decades ago, and but that conversation will continue. In the UK, the Bank of England chairman is actually doing a lot to try to stabilize the economy in the UK, knowing that there's a little bit of uncertainty because of the decision to leave the European Union. He's actually reduced the interest rate to 0.25%. This is the lowest it's ever been in 20 years in the UK. So hopefully we'll encourage people to purchase homes, to spend money basically, and keep the economy strong. And it's really a positive sign, I think, that he's doing a lot to be proactive with the UK economy and not let things happen without people being prepared. So that's in the UK. Now in Brazil, of course, the big news in Brazil is that the Olympics start today in Rio, and it's going to be quite a show. There will be about 10,000 athletes from 207 countries participating, and there's just going to be such an amazing opportunity to see these incredible athletes. 2/3 of the Russian team is being allowed to participate. There was a scandal over over doping, and many were banned from the event, but about 2/3 are going to be participating. That's 270 athletes from Russia. And they're doing everything, from swimming, shooting, synchronized swimming, polo. They're going to be in all those sports, and so that's good news for them. So Rio, the city, is putting the final touches on this big event, which is kicking off tonight at 8 o'clock Brazil time. There's going to be, models and football players and movie stars and celebrities and just thousands of ordinary, wonderful people performing. There'll be dancing and drums and dazzle. It's going to be really incredible. And I'm going to be watching. I just wonder, are you going to watch? Is there any sport that you're really looking forward to seeing at the Olympics? I think that'd be really fun to know what we're kind of all interested in. 3.5 billion, that's billion people will be watching the opening ceremony tonight as the mystery runner, whoever it's going to be, will come into the stadium and light the cauldron. And we don't know who that's going to be yet. So that's always a bit of a mystery and reveal. And I mentioned yesterday, I love it when all the different countries walk through in a circle and holding their flags and in their really beautiful uniforms or outfits. And they're just sort of standing proud for their country, and I'm looking forward to that. And of course the refugee team, the 10 people chosen to represent the refugee community, thousands of people around the world, all with hopes and dreams of finding a better life. And these 10 from, I think, Congo, Sudan, Syria, will be doing their best to represent their people really, really positively. And so that's tonight. Enjoy Olympics if you're into that, and if you're not, just have a great night anyway. But another thing to mention quickly about Olympics is that the next Olympics summer will be in Tokyo in 2020. And I was reading yesterday that they're going to be making some changes to sports in that Olympic venue for a couple of reasons. One is to make the Olympics more relevant to the society that we live in. Almost 50% of people in the world now live in cities, so they really want to urbanize the Olympics a bit. So they're going to be offering, for example, skateboarding, baseball, softball, that's one sport. Then there's surfing and climbing and karate. So those are 5 new sports that are going to be in the Olympics in 2020. And I think it's just kind of nice that the Olympics are trying to stay modern, stay current, and let sport at all levels be incorporated. The kids in urban areas want to be represented too in the Olympics. So that's in Tokyo in 2020. A little way to go for that though. But anyway, now I'd like to share a couple of feel-goods. And this one, I know you're going to go, oh my goodness, here she goes again with happiness. But I really believe that if we keep telling ourselves to be positive, it will change our lives. I really believe that our thoughts control our actions and our values. So I found a story about saying yes to life. And, I think a lot of times we're held back by fear and uncertainty, and just incorporating a yes mentality into our world gives us opportunities that we might miss if we didn't. So here, I'll leave you the link for the article, but there's 8 reasons to say yes to opportunity in your life. And hopefully this will give you some motivation and positivity. So the first thing it says is, you will block the miracle if you don't. And what they mean by miracle is partly the word. It's like the unknown. What is it going to be? You don't know what's going to happen until you say yes to opportunity. So just go for it and see what happens. Second, it shows that someone believes in you. Someone cares for you. If someone says, let's go to dinner, or let's go for a walk, or let's, go to the gym. If you say yes, you're thanking them. You're saying that they care for you. They're giving you something of themselves. So that's a good thing. Next is that yes leads to opening doors. And I'm all for opening doors. No is a closing door. Sometimes that's a good thing, but in many cases, yes opens new doors. Fourth thing is that opportunities don't often come around a second time. How often has that happened? You met someone somewhere and you didn't leave your name. You didn't follow up with a person that you had a similar interest with. You just let an opportunity go because you were afraid to say yes. So maybe today say yes to that and see what happens. The other thing that saying yes does is it makes your life richer and fuller. it just gives you one more thing that you have accepted in your life. So it just enriches your what you have. 6, it attracts positivity. I talked about this at the beginning, but saying yes, you can say yes and not mean it, but it gives you the opportunity to say, to create a new road that you can travel down with someone else, or with a friend, or by yourself. It opens positivity. It allows you to stretch yourself. Maybe it gives you an opportunity to do something that you didn't think you had a strength to do. I mean, there have been a couple of times in my life where I've been offered an opportunity to go somewhere, do something, and I've been a little bit nervous, but I did it, and it was great. Like riding a scooter in Bali. I said to myself, I'm never going to ride a scooter in Bali, and I did, and it was great. And so that was just stretched myself a little bit. And then I think the final thing that all this leads to is that life is short. We don't have a lot of time to, think about yes and no. Just say yes. Just do it. Be safe, of course. Be thoughtful, but just give yourself the opportunity to try something new. So that's my kind of yes day today. And I know, of course, everybody will, or not many, will say, there's times to say no, and there are, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But today is a yes day, so go for it. And the final story. This is a fun story. When I look for these feel-good stories, I often have trouble. There's not that many channels that talk about positive stories. But this one is on a channel called the Good News Channel. And it's a really nice channel, just simple stories. But even the title of this story really caught my imagination. The title was, and I'll have to read it here, it's quite long. It says, "Stolen Gnome returned to driveway after 8 months with book detailing epic trip." So even the title made me laugh, but it's just a really fun story about this woman. Her name was Bev York. She lives in British Columbia in Canada. And she had this garden gnome in her garden. Those little, they're kind of plastic, stone characters that people put in their gardens, kind of decorative. And he was sitting there in the garden for years. And one day she got up and went out and he was gone. And it's a true story, by the way. And she was like, oh gosh, someone must have taken him. So she forgot about it. And 6 months later, in December, he came back. She went out one morning and found this plastic bag on the lawn with with the gnome inside, and a little note that said, "Hi, my name is Leopold, the traveling gnome." So she opened it up and took it out, put it in her garden, and read the book. There was like a photo book with it. I had all the pictures of where he'd gone. He'd gone to the Grand Canyon and to the beaches in Mexico, and he just had a really good time just kind of going around the world. And this picture book told of his adventures. And then he said, I just thought, I'll read this because it's so funny. He says, one more, this is what Leopold the gnome had written. "Hi, one morning back in December 2015, I saw a motorhome total along the road, and I thought to myself, there's got to be more to life than just standing knee-deep in rainwater and getting peed on by the neighborhood dogs. And, and there's just got to be some alternative to the same view every day." And so he then goes on to say that, the last note in the book is, "I hope you enjoyed my album and my pictures. Sorry I disappeared for so long, but I had a really great time, and better to have adventure before dementia." I just thought that was so sweet. I don't know who makes this stuff up, but it was really, really good. And Bev actually said, when she was interviewed about this, said, "I think it's great. He had such a fun time. And I just would say that next time, leave Leopold here and take me with you." So good on Bev for having that positive attitude. But, that was a great little fun story about, just taking your life and giving it a different view. And Leopold did it, so, we can too. But anyway, I thought that was a fun story. Hope it made you smile. So today, I just want to remind you before we close that I want you to have a fantastic Friday. I hope you have a really good day. And say yes. This is a yes day. Say yes to as many things as you can. And I'd like to just remind you to go up to 60andme.com/mornings and sign up for our news bulletins and show support for us. And also answer my question for today, which is, What is the one thing that you are going to say yes to today? Put it in the comment section below. We'll have a conversation, a dialogue, and see what everyone's got planned. What is the one thing you're going to say yes to today? Have a great Friday, everyone. I will see you tomorrow morning for Mornings with 60 and Me. Bye for now. Take care.